Hey champions, Chris Bean here. Today I'm going to talk to you about how you can make a roadmap in order to achieve your goals. You see, if you have your goals, that's wonderful. Excellent to have goals. Not everybody has goals. So if you have goals, you're already on track and far better than most people. Now, how do you put those plans, that goal, into something you can actually achieve? That's something way off, far off in the distance. What can you do to actively get those things that you want to achieve? Well, you got to make a plan, a roadmap, your guide in order to achieve those things. What does that look like? Well, so that for me would start with visualization. You want to visualize what does it look like to have already achieved that goal. What does this do for you? Well, a couple things. It allows you to think through what type of things that person would do on a daily basis. Why is that helpful? Well, if you can think through the type of things that person does on a daily basis, and those things are different than what you are doing now, maybe that would give you some insight on what you can do in order to be on track to achieve those things. Another thing you can do is to think, okay, you're visualizing, what does this look like? What does this look like if I would have already achieved this goal? What does my day look like? What does it look like and smell like and taste like? What's my calendar like? What type of tasks do I do? What type of things do I do on a daily basis? What are my daily practices? And that in lies the next thing. Those daily practices are crucial, so important. You see, because the things that we do on a daily basis really make up who we are. And I'll bet you want to achieve that goal. But really, it's not the destination that is important. It's the journey from where you are in order to be where you want to be. That is the important part. You see, because once you travel that distance, you could be this or this or this. You have some variation there. It's not necessarily that thing that you want. It's that journey to move from who you are to who you want to become. And that journey is going to happen by really changing the things that you do on a daily basis, those daily practices. So in our visualization, we're thinking about that type of person who's already achieved those things. We have that person in our mind. Okay, what do they look like? What do they do? What are their daily practices? And for myself, I think of daily practices as opposed to what other people would say habits. Habits to me is a magical mystery thing, and it's not necessarily what I want to think of. It's not magic. To me, a habit is something that I practice every single day. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens because I purposefully put the work in to achieve or work on that thing that I want to achieve. So, daily practices. What does that person do on a daily basis? What practices do they have that really make up who they are? Now, once you can kind of think about, okay, what type of things would that person try to do? Then that starts to line you up with where you want to go. You start to see a vague outline of the road that you want to walk, the path. Now, the next thing that you're going to want to do, see, because as you're visualizing the person who has already achieved that goal, not the person who is on the way to achieve that goal. So those may be some little bit different type of steps there. So we want to be that person who is on the way to achieve that thing. Okay, so then in our visualization, we just take a step back. We backtrack a little bit, okay? This person hasn't quite yet achieved this goal, but they're really close. They're just about there. What are they doing? Okay, great. Then you answer that question. By answering that question, that'll give a little bit more clarity. It'll clear up your path that you want to walk so that you can better walk that path and achieve that goal. Now, one of the next things that you're going to have to do, once you get kind of a list of daily practices, habits, if you want to think about them like that, once you get a list of those, then you're going to want to think, okay, which of these do I have to implement first? Or, because there's two ways you could do this, or which of these is going to have the most overarching effect on my life, right? Because those two questions are going to have different answers. And depending on how you answer those is going to be dependent on which of those practices you put into place first. For you, maybe you choose the one that has the most overarching effect. Okay, if I do this one thing, that's going to affect this whole different areas of life. All right, great, try that. I say try, because it's so difficult to say, yeah, that's going to work, right? Because often in our head, the thing that we want to achieve is it seems easy. Oh, I just do these things. Okay, great. And I get this thing. It's so tough. Why is it tough? Well, life. Life is tough. I like to think about life like a maze of randomly always evolving paths to follow. And on top of that, there's booby traps around every other corner. Oh, and the hard part about this is you have to navigate this maze blindfolded. You have no idea what's going to happen. That's what I like to think about life like. And because of that, it is nearly impossible to anticipate all of the obstacles that are going to happen. However, I'm a firm believer of doing your best to envision potential obstacles that are going to happen. Why is this important? Well, we talked about life. Life is tough. You never know what's going to happen. However, if you can think through some steps and think maybe if I do this bad thing might happen, or this bad thing might happen. You think those bad things might happen, okay, then you're on the right track, okay? Because if you're walking down your road, you're putting the daily practices in place, you're going good, and then something bad happens. Oh man, you gotta change your plans, you're thrown off. And then once you're thrown off that path, the way to get back to that path is almost like it's all covered up. That maze moved and grew. Now there's a wall there where the path used to be. You can't make it back there. All because of that obstacle, all because of whatever happened that came up that was in the way. Now, if you can think through potential obstacles, what that can do is you think through, okay, this might happen. And even though that specific thing might not happen, something close might happen. And because you have already thought about this thing might happen and came up with a plan of action, steps to put into place of what to do to get back on your track, to get back to the path, to achieve your goal, despite whatever obstacle might come up, because you have a list of action plans in order to get back to your path. That will greatly help you in reaching that goal. So what we talk about, let's sum this up. Visualization. Visualize the person who's already achieved that goal. Think about the things that they do, the habits that they have, or daily practices. Then you want to backtrack a little bit. What is that person that has almost achieved that goal doing on a daily basis to be on track to achieve that goal? Have a list of daily practices. You have two methods for this. Either choose the one that's going to have the most overarching effect, or choose the one that you think is most important. And then the next thing is obstacles. You want to anticipate obstacles. Obstacles are abound in life. They're going to happen. And if you have no plan of action to get back on track when those obstacles come up, you will be lost. That maze will grow over. There's a wall now in place of where the path used to be. So by having an action plan, you know that, okay, great, this bad thing happened. I'm sorry. But because I have an action plan, a thing to do when I know that something bad's going to happen, I can get back to my path and achieve that goal that I really want. Hey, champions, I want to tell you thank you. Thank you for going on this journey here with me. Thank you for working on yourself, to work on yourself to achieve these goals. And let me know in the comments below if you found this video helpful. Stay tuned till next time.